Good afternoon, YouTube. This is the Pond Diver with another real-life DIY. Today I'm going to be discussing the top reasons why I chose to hard pipe my above-ground pool. Let's get into it. Before we get into it, let me just make a disclosure here. This is something you certainly don't have to do at all. I just tend to overthink things from time to time. So there's a few reasons, like I said, that I wanted to hard pipe my pool. I think the very first reason is the second law of thermodynamics. So I'm a cold natured person and we do a lot of swimming at night, and I thought up of a way that I could heat the pool by using my pump. If the pump is hard pipe from the pool to the pump and then back from the pump to the pool, then I could paint it black. While the water is sitting in the pipe or traveling through the pipe, it'll use the second law of thermodynamics with black paint, and it will heat the water. Now, I don't have hundreds of feet of pipe. I only have probably at total maybe 15 or 16 feet of pipe. But even as it travels through the pipe and comes out on the discharge side, after I did my testing, I found out that it raises the overall temperature of the water by 2 or 3 degrees. Now, it doesn't do it instantly. It does take most of the day to do such, but in the evening time when the sun goes down, the water tends to cool rapidly. But by painting the pipe black, it gives you an extra 2 or 3 degrees and the water stays warmer just a little bit longer. It lengthens the amount of swim time you can have in the evenings. Another reason I did it is because the original hoses that came with the pool, the gray and white discharge and suction hoses that you're familiar with, they have ribs on the inside of them, whereas PVC is smooth. I thought maybe that, and I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, if you would drop them down in the comment section, I'd like to know that. But I think that the ribs may cause a little bit of friction with the water flowing through it. It also may give it a reason to pull in maybe sand or something of that nature. Some fine particulates may get caught in the ridges of that hose. And I didn't want to create any resistance with the water flow like that. So another reason why I wanted to is because with the hoses, they sag, and there's no real good to do what I call cable management. It's not exactly cable management, but there's no real way of getting the loops out of the hoses. So you'll notice that your hose goes down, then it has to come back up to your pump, and in my way of thinking, that just creates a little bit more friction in the way of gravity pulling on. It's more or less like a P-trap. There's no need to have a P-trap on this pool. There are no gases being produced by your pump that will exert back into your water. So having it come directly out of the side of the pool, down and across, seems to get that friction out of the way. Now, to the people that are going to make the comments about having turns and bends, I understand that I should keep all of my 90s at a minimum. Even though it's a short run on either side of the suction and discharge, I did try to keep my 90s somewhere around 3 or 4 at the most. Now, if this was pneumatic, if it was being air in there, I would probably change over to 45-degree angles. But in this case, it's hydraulic with 1.5 inches, and I think that just a few 90-degree angles will not affect the performance of the pump. So, in a recap, I did it for a little additional heat. I did it to take the ribbed condition, the retention out of the hoses. I also did it for gravity, and by doing this, I believe that it will extend the life of the pump and improve the pump's performance. Not to mention, I was able to set the pump several more feet away from the pool. Now, if you have any questions about any of the plumbing that I did, feel free to drop them down in the comments section. This is probably an apprentice-style plumbing job. I'm no professional plumber, by no means. I simply went down to the hardware store. I took my Intex hose with me, and I began mating all my pieces up to 1.5 inches. Came home. It took me about 4 hours. I roughed everything in. I did all my cuts and measurements. I roughed it, I built it, then I disassembled it and glued it after that. If this video helped you in any way, let me know that in the comments section as well. And if this is your first time stopping by this channel, I certainly appreciate it. If you want more in the way of real life reviews and DIYs and things of that nature, go ahead and subscribe and turn that bell on for weekly updates. Until then, this is the Pond Diver.